Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Free Life channel. Today's a special one because I'm filming at an airport and I feel really vulnerable with everyone walking around me, watching me, and probably listening to me talk to myself. And so it's interesting. And so I'm taking a step of courage right now to get this video done. I made a promise to myself that I would try to make a video every day, and I didn't think that it was I didn't think it was a valid excuse to allow the idea that others would judge me potentially as a reason to not make a video. And so I tried to set up the tripod and the camera a little bit earlier, but I felt really nervous and anxious because I was thinking, oh, what if security comes, or what if somebody says something to me? And so I managed to settle for this, and so it's a growing step, and so that's what you're witnessing right now. So maybe you're asking yourself why it is I'm sitting at an airport. Well, I'm in transit from Las Vegas back to Germany, which is where I reside. It's where my home is currently. And I have managed to leave Germany for about a month. I came back to the United States to visit my family and some friends on January 8th. And now I'm headed back to the lockdown. But I'm excited. I'm excited to take these new habits that I have and these things that I've learned and apply them to my life and to continue growing. And so that's what this video is about. It's a simple commitment to myself to stay disciplined, because as you remember in one of the books that I talked about by Brian Tracy, successful people, they do the hard thing when it's hard to do it. Whereas people that don't want to be as successful, they take the easier path. And so maybe this isn't the best video, but it is something that I am going to be proud of in the future, knowing that I did this, that I was accountable and I was reliable. I did what I said I was going to do. And so I'm very happy for this, and I'm grateful for this. And so I flew from Las Vegas to New York, and I landed about an hour ago. And I was thinking to myself, what can I listen to as an audiobook and talk about with my audience today? And I decided that, you know what, I'm on a plane. I don't want it to make it stressful or to where I have to pay attention. I stayed up quite late last night hanging out with my friends, and so I was quite tired. And so I decided to listen to something out of enjoyment versus out of education. And so I had been gifted a book called Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, and it is a fantastic memoir. It's a fantastic book about this crazy successful actor and his life and his journey. And there's so many tidbits of information and wisdom that are instilled. And one of my favorite ones that I've listened to so far is he has this idea that life, you should forever to rent and never to own. And it kind of made me think about this mentality of, yeah, you can pick up and go and do what you want, and you're only renting spaces of time, and you're never owned by the time in which you have the power to choose what you want to do with your life. And he goes to Africa and gets into a wrestling match with one of the local legends. He travels to Australia, where he gets stuck in a strange household as a foreign exchange student, and he learns. And in this experience in Australia, he's forced to take a look at himself. And he says in the book that maybe something that people can think about is introverts, maybe they need to get out more and socialize to understand themselves more. Whereas extroverts, maybe they need to be alone and tap into themselves and to learn about themselves. And so I'm kind of in the middle. I'm torn between being an introvert and an extrovert. But right now I feel very introverted. Like, I don't want anybody to be around me. I don't want anyone to really see me except for the people on the video. And so I've been reading out of an enjoyment to maintain my happiness, because I don't want this YouTube thing or the reading thing to become a chore. It's something that I really enjoy, reading books, listening to books, educating my mind. And so I want to maintain the sense of enjoyment. And I have a smile on my face and I have purpose in my life because I felt like I did something for myself, and that gives me power and that gives me confidence. And I do want to share just one thing. I just have to open my book here, so bear with me. And it talks about the idea that we need to stand up with our shoulders back, because when you stand up tall, you have more confidence. And standing up tall and pulling your shoulders back and having a good posture is just the first step in a long line of things that we can do physically to improve our lives. Okay, a very small thing. Try not to walk over with your back hunched, because it makes you appear weak, or as if you're trying to protect yourself from behind. And so be confident, stand up straight, pull your shoulders back, and be proud of yourself. And so the thing I want to share with you from Matthew McConaughey is, he says, maybe the road that we need to travel isn't the road that's less traveled by people, right? So you always hear this statement saying, take the road less traveled. But maybe the road less traveled is the road that's the busiest. But maybe that's the road that you travel on the least. So you need to take that road. It's not about taking a road in which nobody has walked down, but it's about taking the path that you walk down the least, because you should have new experiences and you should continuously try to find ways for your brain to learn and to grow. And so that's what I think that this quote is talking about. Take the road less traveled, but the road that you travel down the least. And sometimes the choice you make isn't as important as simply making a choice and then sticking with it. So being decisive, that might be the most important thing that I've taken away from the book so far. Make a decision and stick with it. It may have been the quote unquote wrong decision, but at the end of it, it will have been the right decision, because you'll learn from it if it was the wrong decision in the time. So I thank you for watching this video. It's a really special one, and I'm really proud of myself, and I hope that this energy stays with me, and I'm hoping for a safe flight back to Germany, and I can't wait to get back tomorrow from my apartment where I can be a little bit more settled and not so anxious, and give some real meaningful conversation. Thanks everybody. Have a wonderful day.